I avoided that road for nearly a month. It wasn't difficult. There were other routes, longer but better lit, with the comfort of passing headlights and the reassurance of gas stations still open past midnight. I told myself the detour was practical, safer in winter, but avoidance has a way of sharpening memory rather than dulling it. Every time I drove at night, I found myself scanning the tree lines automatically, watching the ditches, checking the rearview mirror longer than necessary. The image of that black silhouette pacing the field had embedded itself somewhere permanent. Then came the night I had no choice. The late shift ran longer than expected. Snow threatened but never fell, leaving the air brittle and dry. The quickest way home was the same back road I had sworn off. I hesitated at the turnoff. The signpost stood crooked as ever, reflective paint chipped at the edges. The fields beyond lay open and exposed under a thin crescent moon. Nothing moved. I turned anyway. The road felt narrower than I remembered. My headlights seemed weaker. Every mile marker triggered a quiet tension in my chest. I told myself I was being dramatic, that nothing unusual had happened beyond a trick of perception amplified by isolation. But as I approached the stretch near where I had stopped weeks earlier, something shifted. The air changed, not colder, thicker. The radio, which had been playing softly, dissolved into static again. I switched it off before I could startle me further. And then I saw it, not in front of me, in the field to the left this time. A tall, unmoving shape standing just beyond the ditch. The same proportions, the same impossible blackness that seemed to swallow moonlight. The same still, deliberate posture. The hellhound had returned. It did not block the road. It did not advance. It simply stood there, parallel to my car, as though aware of my approach long before I arrived. I slowed instinctively, though I did not stop. As I passed, its head turned slightly. Those ember-red eyes caught my headlights for a single second. There was no hostility in them, no warning, just recognition. Then it resumed its forward stare, attention fixed once more down the length of the road ahead of me, guarding. I drove on, pulse hammering in my ears. For nearly half a mile, it kept pace in the field beside me, moving silently through frost and stubble without disturbing a single row. Its stride was effortless, unhurried, matching my speed exactly. Then, without ceremony, it veered away from the road and disappeared into the deeper dark. I exhaled only when I realized I had been holding my breath. The rest of the drive was uneventful, but the pattern had changed. The first time it had intercepted something. Now it was patrolling before anything arrived, and that meant one thing I could not ignore. Whatever prowled those back roads had not given up, and neither had the hellhound. The next few nights I kept watch from my bedroom window. Though I did not leave the warmth of the house, my gaze drifted toward the stretch of road beyond Elkhorn, half expecting to see it emerge again from the shadows. On the third night it came. At first, just a faint glimmer, a darker patch against the blackened field. I held my breath, recognizing the posture immediately. Tall shoulders, rigid, head lowered slightly. The red glow of its eyes appeared, faint and far off, like embers glowing through the fog. I could see it pacing the edge of the road, the same deliberate motion I had witnessed before, but this time I noticed more. Subtle details I had missed in the darkness while in the car. Its fur seemed to ripple like smoke caught in a breeze. Muscles tightened and relaxed beneath the black coat in a rhythm too precise, too purposeful for a natural animal. Its paws did not disturb the frost or soil. leaving no tracks. A vibration thrummed beneath the road once more. I had felt it in the car before. Now it came through the soles of my feet, pressed to the cold window sill. It was the same low hum, as though something immense was shifting beneath the frozen earth, moving in tandem with the hellhound's steps. Then a sound broke the silence, a distant, unnatural growl, low and elongated, carried faintly on the night air. The hellhound froze instantly, ears raised, postured out. It did not run toward it or away, it simply watched, every sense attuned, as if mirroring a threat that existed outside of human perception. The growl faded, leaving only the hum beneath the earth and the rustle of frozen grass in the wind. The creature resumed pacing. I realized then what I had suspected but could not articulate before. It was not alone. Something else moved in the darkness beyond the reach of the headlights, or in this case, beyond the reach of my eyes, and the hellhound was always between it and the road. A guardian, a sentinel, a warning in black fur and glowing eyes. I drew back from the window, my chest tight, my hands trembling. For the first time, fear was not just about the unknown creature. Fear had become about what it was protecting us from, about the thing that had drawn the hellhound to the backroads of Wisconsin in the first place. I did not sleep that night, and when morning came, the fields looked calm, almost serene. Frost glistened in the weak sunlight. There was no hint of the shadow, no trace of the glowing eyes. Yet I knew the hellhound remained out there, watching, waiting, guarding. Weeks passed, but the sense of unease never left me. Every drive past the stretch of road felt like a gamble, every shadow a possible threat. I told myself the sightings were rare, that perhaps I had merely been fortunate to witness something extraordinary, or cursed to remember it forever. Then, one night, I returned from a late shift and found the road empty, silent and frozen as usual. The moon was new, and the sky stretched black, uninterrupted by stars. The quiet was so absolute it pressed against my eardrums. I rounded a bend near the outskirts of Elkhorn, expecting nothing. But as I approached the familiar ditch, my headlights caught it immediately. Tall, impossibly black, eyes glowing faintly red, pacing once again. This time it did not linger at the edge of the field. It had crossed halfway onto the road, still careful not to step fully onto the asphalt. Its attention was fixed ahead, ears pricked, tail stiff. I slowed instinctively, heart hammering, breath shallow. A vibration rippled beneath my tires, stronger than I remembered, pressing upward into my legs and chest. It was the same hum I had felt before, but now it pulsed with urgency. A shadow detached itself from the far tree line, vast, low, and moving with unnatural fluidity. I could not make out the shape clearly, only the sense of mass, of movement, of something that should not exist. The hellhound did not attack, it simply stepped forward, placing itself directly in the path of the shadow, bracing its legs as if anchoring itself against a force too great to resist. Its growl emerged at last, low and resonant, vibrating through the frozen air, not loud, but unmistakable, not humanly loud, but earth-shaken in perception. The shadow paused, then retreated, slowly dissolving into the darkness beyond the road. The hum beneath the tires faded, and the creature relaxed, though it did not leave. I exhaled shakily, gripping the wheel so tightly my knuckles ached. My mind raced with questions I could not answer. What had it been keeping at bay? How long had I been guarding these back roads, and how many others had driven through, unaware of the silent sentinel beside them? The hellhound remained, still as a statue, watching the distant fields. I dared not stop, dared not even slow further. I drove past slowly, keeping my eyes fixed on the creature until it disappeared from view into shadows, leaving only silence in its wake. That night I learned something I could never forget. The hellhound was not hunting. It was protecting, and whatever prowled those back roads was far older, far stranger, and far more dangerous than anyone could imagine. I could not forget what I had witnessed that night. The image of the hellhound, standing rigid and unwavering against a presence I could not fully perceive, haunted me in ways that ordinary nightmares never could. I tried to return to normal life, work, errands, social obligations. All the routines I had once relied upon to anchor myself felt hollow. My thoughts constantly returned to that stretch of road, to the vibration beneath the tires, to the low hum that seemed almost alive. Friends and co-workers noticed my distraction. I tried to dismiss it with stories of late nights and fatigue, but even I could not ignore the weight pressing on me from that night. The rational mind struggled to reconcile with what my senses had observed: a creature impossibly large, impossibly black, moving in perfect silence, guarding against something unseen yet undeniably present. I eventually began taking notes, sketching what I could remember about its form, its movements, the patterns it followed along the road. I mapped the locations where I had seen it, the points where the vibration underfoot intensified, the stretches where the shadow seemed to gather. Patterns emerged. It did not roam freely. It did not hunt indiscriminately. It appeared only at certain times, in certain places. It stayed near the road, patrolled the edges of fields, and never allowed the darkness to cross its path. It was methodical, precise, and patient, qualities that suggested intelligence beyond instinct. And then I began to hear the stories from others. Farmers, truckers, and the late-night travelers spoke of the black dog in hushed tones. Some claimed it ran alongside their vehicles for a few hundred yards before vanishing. Others swore it blocked the road, red eyes glowing only to disappear the moment they slowed or braced. Few were willing to admit it had ever been guarding anything, but their fear was unmistakable. I realized with a sinking certainty that what I had seen was no ordinary beast. It was a sentinel, a protector, and it had been there long before I arrived and would remain long after I left. The road was no longer just asphalt and frost, it had become a threshold, and the hellhound, silent, black, and vigilant, was the only thing standing between the ordinary world and something far more sinister lurking in the shadows of southern Wisconsin. From that night onward, I never traveled those back roads alone after dark, and when I did, I always watched the edges, not just for what could appear, but for what might be held at bay by the guardian I had glimpsed once and would never forget. Months passed, and the memory of that night remained sharp, almost intrusive. The mundane rhythm of daily life could not erase the sensation of something immense, patient, and unseen, moving just beyond the edge of perception. Every time I drove elsewhere at night, I found myself glancing at shadows in the fields, listening for vibrations that weren't there, half expecting to see the faint glow of red eyes reflected in frost or mist. Then came a night that made the stories I had heard and the experiences I had recorded feel almost laughably small. I had returned to Wisconsin for a family visit, and the detour route I was forced to take took me back near that cursed stretch of road. Snow had fallen lightly, covering the shoulders in a thin, brittle crust. The air was unnaturally still, and the sky above pressed low, heavy with cloud. I rounded the familiar curve, headlights piercing the darkness. And movement at the field's edge caught my attention. The hellhound emerged first, a silhouette against the snow-tinged grass, taller than I remembered, the faint red glow of its eyes cutting through the night, but this time it was not alone. Two more shapes, massive and black, followed behind it. Their outlines were similar, yet subtly wrong, longer limbs, unnaturally smooth movements, almost as if their bodies were designed for efficiency rather than biology. They moved in silent formation, pacing alongside the first hellhound, each step perfectly synchronized. I froze. The vibration beneath the road returned, stronger than ever. It thrummed through the tires, up the steering column, into the chest. The rhythm of it seemed deliberate, controlled, and somehow intelligent. My rational mind wanted to dismiss what I was seeing. Three hellhounds, coordinated, impossible. Yet there they were, guardians all, aligning themselves with precision along the edge of the road, eyes glowing faintly like distant embers. The sensation of being observed returned tenfold. It was not fear this time. It was reverence mixed with dread, an acknowledgement that I was in the presence of something ancient, something that had its own purpose and rules. Whatever threat had stirred these creatures before had clearly returned, or perhaps it had never fully left. For several long minutes I watched them patrol silently, the new additions moving with this new, same measured grace. I felt the night pressing around me, the frost and snow catching the light of my headlights and reflecting it back with a dull, eerie shimmer. Every instinct screamed at me to flee, yet my body refused to move, locked by the gravity of observation. Then, as silently as they had arrived, the three figures slipped back into the darkness beyond the fields, leaving only the faintest disturbance in the snow and the lingering vibration beneath the road. The air returned to stillness. The night was quiet once more. I exhaled slowly, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles whitened. I understood then with chilling clarity that the Hellhound of Wisconsin was not a solitary sentinel. It was part of something larger, a force older than memory, bound to protect and patrol these backroads against threats I was not meant to comprehend. And I realized fully that anyone who wandered those roads after dark might encounter the Guardians, but few would ever leave the experience unchanged. I have not returned to that road at night since that final sighting. Even in daylight, the fields and frost-bitten roads feel heavy with memory, as if the land itself remembers what lurks along its edges. The few times I've driven past during the day, the stretch seems ordinary, fences sagging under snow, cornstalk remnants sticking stiffly out of frozen earth, telephone poles leaning as they always have, no red eyes, no vibrations, no guardians pacing the fields. But I knew they are there, always watching, waiting, silent and patient. They exist on the threshold between what is visible and what is forbidden, a presence so vast and deliberate that it cannot be dismissed as mere legend. I tell this story not to frighten, but to warn. The backroads of southern Wisconsin are not simply empty stretches of asphalt and frost. They are a corridor washed over by something ancient, a sentinel of unimaginable size and intelligence capable of confronting forces far beyond human comprehension. Travelers speak of black dogs, wolves too large to be natural, eyes glowing red in the dark. They call them myths, accidents of imagination. They do not understand. They will never know what it feels like to stand on the edge of a field, to sense the vibration beneath the ground, to witness an entity that moves with purpose and knowledge beyond this world. I will not return. I do not need to. The hellhounds continue their patrol night after night. They roam the edges of frozen fields, guarding the roads we cross, keeping the darkness at bay, and I am left with the certainty that whatever else walks those back roads, whatever ancient force stirs beneath the soil, the guardians will remain vigilant, silent, and eternal. Somewhere out there in the fields beyond Elkhorn, they pace, watching, waiting, protecting, and I, like anyone who has glimpsed them, will carry the memory forever. The back roads are not empty, and the hellhound is always there.